Alright, getting ready to hit the play button in 3, 2, 1. Caitlin, don't laugh at me. And play. What is going on, everybody? My name is Cody, and this is just a relatively short video, I hope like all hell, that will show you guys how to do a simple airlock. Now, this is the current ship I'm working on as of the recording of this video, and I'm just going to show you how one of these airlocks work. Now, keep in mind that the game right now is very temperamental, and it doesn't like airlocks, and you'll get air leaks and everything, but this is what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to work. Now, you can build an airlock in pretty much any way you want, but the way I do it makes it to where you pretty much can't open it unless you do a whole bunch of interesting things. Now, what I normally do is I set it to disable all the keypads to keep you from tripping up the system, because you have to use 2 timer blocks to make a airlock the way I do it. So let's go ahead and get on board with this. Now, I'm voicing over what I've already recorded, so it's going to be more a commentary of what I was doing. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to make a platform to build into. That way we have a separate entity. That way the ship doesn't register, hey, I'm getting stuff that's not supposed to be there later, and it'll mess up the system and it'll be a lot harder to track. So let's go ahead and build a box here, and yeah. So the reason that you'd want an airlock on a ship is pretty self-explanatory, but if you feel a little bit antsy or anxious in some way about it, it's really easy, and I'll show you in this video. Like it took me maybe 20 minutes to set everything up and get it running. Most of it was me arguing with the game itself to try to get it to do what it was supposed to do. So you're gonna see probably a little skip here and there where I was getting past all the arguing of the game not liking me for whatever reason, because I'm a swell person, I think. So let's go ahead and get this frame put in place. As you can see, we're just putting the basic shape of the airlock in place. Now, that's going to be where the timer block and the oxygen tank is going to go, so you won't have to see all of the inner workings if you don't want to. Now, you can build this any way you want as long as you have a spot to suck in the air and then push the air back out, and the doors to shut and stay shut unless they're supposed to open. You will have a completely working airlock. I just build mine this way because it's how I learned how to do it, and to me it's just more aesthetically pleasing to have it do a little bit more fancy pants kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and name these timer blocks to where we don't lose track of what they're called. We're going to call this one airlock stage 1. I usually put timer. There we go. Especially when you have a ship that's got thousands of blocks in it, it's just easier to name everything and make it easier to find, so you won't shoot yourself in the face later for how much you hate yourself. So we're going to go ahead and set this to about 15 seconds to where it can depressurize and pressurize. And normally I'd set all blocks to set ownership towards the person in question, i.e. myself. So we're going to go ahead and power this up a little bit. We're going to use some batteries. I prefer the XPAR energy mod because, you know, it just looks really nice, and it's a lot more aesthetically pleasing to me than the original battery. And we're going to put some gravity down, that way we don't freaking fly everywhere, because that's annoying. So we're going to go ahead and completely seal this area off. That way we don't have to worry about being sucked into a vacuum every 5 seconds. Now, let's see. We are going to go ahead and put a air vent and tank in here. That way we have a good base, and then I'll do an airtight test to show that the area is indeed airtight with a block in the way. So we're going to go ahead and put this oxygen generator in here. Why not? Alright, so as you can see, the area is actually in a vacuum until I go ahead and put, let's see, where is it? We're going to go ahead and put the catwalk plate in just to show that we do have pressurization. We're going to go ahead and do the ultimate suck job. There we go. Indeed. What she said, that is. So we're going to go ahead and get an air tank, wherever the hell they are. I hate doing this to myself. We're going to get rid of those because I've already used up all I need on hydrogen thrusters on the current ship build. So we're going to go ahead and put that in place. We are going to have to cycle through all these tabs again and go ahead and rotate around because I'm OCD as hell. And we're going to name each one of these air vents, that way we don't lose track of them. That's normally what most people would put, but I just, well, not that, there we go. I put that there, that way when you use one of the automatic LCD script that's in the Steam Workshop, which is one of my favorite scripts, by the way, it just makes it a lot easier to see on a bridge what part of your ship is pressurized and which one isn't, and then you can run diagnostics and figure out what's going on. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Make sure everything you don't need is hidden from the grid. We're going to go ahead and put one of these no panel hatches in. I love this mod because it just makes it a lot harder to screw up a circuit like one of these. So we're going to go ahead and do this one here. That's going to be the inner chamber, and this one's going to be the outer hatch. Now I just got to name them. I'm going to set them up to depressurize first, just to make sure we got suction. Now we're going to use the we're using the build view mod for the game, which makes it a lot easier to dial everything in. So we're going to go ahead and program the first part of the circuit to where it will do what it needs to do. I'm getting sick and tired of not knowing what these are apparently, so I'm going to go ahead and name it proper. And we're going to name this right here. And now we've got this. I should be able to go ahead and finish up stage 1 and stage 2. We're going to go ahead and set all these to close. We're going to close both doors, which sounds counterproductive, just bear with me. We're going to go ahead and set this one to open now, and that one as well. But we're also going to make it to where it toggles the blocks on and off. The reason for that is so that one stays shut and the other will stay open, and you don't have to go in and push one button to open the door and then close it again. Open the close, open the close. I'm going to go ahead and dial them in. And we're almost ready to test the loop. We just need to have some buttons. And once I put the button in place, you can stop the video there, and you just want the bare essential buttons for your airlock. But continue on if you want to see a more complete and proper one that has indicator lights. And as I said, I haven't fully finished this build. What I'll normally do is have it to where the key panels are also disabled when the airlock is in activity. That way you don't accidentally do this motion here especially and completely mess up your loop, because by then you'll be having a bad day, especially if you do that right when the block gets turned off, because then it'll be impossible to fix it unless you tear through the wall, and nobody wants that. That's just a bad day waiting to happen. So let's go ahead and take care of this, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to trigger this now. Now later on in the video you're going to see the airlock act up on me, but rest assured everything is the way it needs to be. It's just the way the game's currently running. We're still in the beta phase, so it's going to be a very irritable little girl. So we're going to go ahead and at this point the airlock is complete. You can adjust it any way you want. Like, I will always put lights inside my airlocks when they're finished. I will excuse me, I'll correctly plumb everything up to the system. I usually make my airlocks stand alone. That way if they lose air, you're not losing air from the rest of the ship, which is what an airlock is essentially meant to do, is to keep everything isolated. So at this point we're going to go ahead and just put a couple more lights in here, mostly for the aesthetics, but it's also nice to have them to make sure you know your airlock is working, especially if you are new to it. Now, I could be doing this the fast way, but I love using this particular mod because it just makes life so much easier. You don't need a key panel to do every single thing under the sun, which I'm a complete proponent for. but in creative mode it's a pain in the ass, so we're not going to do it that way. Now, excuse me, the airlock is ready for me to make sure that everything is still sealed. Good. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and start it again. And the game might be bugging right now. I can't remember exactly when it starts glitching out on me, but this door should open. If not, I'm going to have to sit there and manually make it do it. But yeah, at this point it's being irritable. There we go. Cool. So not so irritable. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put this light right here. Look how pretty. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and at this point I'm pretty sure I get annoyed, and yep, there we go. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put this key panel in just so I can adjust everything correctly. And what was I doing? I think I was responding to a message or whatever I was doing. Alright, so let's go ahead and address all these lights. Fix this, fix this. Now they're all working. And this one we're going to want to name for the inner airlock. Status. Down status. The more direct you are, the better. And now I get to sit there and just do this. As I tell you, love scrolling around. Copy and paste that because I'm lazy. I'm going to go ahead and OPR. Okay. There you go. Yes, there we go. Alright, so if you want to be really flashy, pun intended, you could definitely set it up to where it will blink as well. Now, we're going to go ahead and put these status lights in here. That way you can see what you got going on. Alright, so I think at this point I'm making sure everything is right, because I like to double check everything, because it sucks when you go to build something and then you wind up building a giant hole into it and not noticing until it's too late. It's one of the biggest pain in the asses on the planet. There we go. So making sure all this stuff is going, because apparently I lost track of what I was doing. Alright, go ahead and toggle block on off. There we go. Alright, now at this point I'm sitting there trying to wrap my head around what I did wrong, when I should have just, clicked. Like I didn't know what I was doing. In hindsight, now I know exactly what I was doing. At the time I was trying to figure out what I was doing wrong, but now I know. Alright, there we go. Alright, so at this point we just got to go in and toggle the one light on at a time. So this one should be off because the door is open. So now that's off. We're just going to show that whenever one door is open, that the other one's door is shut and the light is on to indicate that the airlock is open on that side, meaning that there's either pressure or no pressure. And that makes life a little bit easier. Now, as you can see, the lock is still working. The door won't open until I decide to push the button. Now, the light will turn off as soon as this side becomes equalized with the pressure on the outside, which is how the airlock is supposed to work, and you shouldn't lose any air at all. So that being said, guys, that will do it for this video, I believe, because at this point I just get hit with a bunch of random problems. So if you like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike the video, hit the dislike button. If you want to see more of this, go ahead and leave a comment down below and ask me what I should take on next, and I will see you guys in the next video. So you guys have a good one. I'll see you next time.